Hi everyone, I'm Brian Easterday and welcome back to Eye of the Storm Astrology. So today I'm going to be continuing my video series, Moon Through the Signs. And today we're going to be talking about Moon in the sign of Cancer. Now if you haven't checked out the previous videos, go back and check those out as well. That way you can follow along. But before I dive into it, make sure that you hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because I don't want you to miss out on any of the valuable content that I'll be putting out. And I do put out a lot of it. There's a new video every other day. Moon in the sign of Cancer. What does it mean when Moon comes into the sign of Cancer in your birth chart? And this, keep in mind, this is per Vedic astrology using sidereal calculations. So when Moon comes into the sign of Cancer, it does very well here because Moon is the planet that rules the sign of Cancer. So whenever a planet comes into its own sign, it becomes both that the karmas of both that planet and that sign really come out. So the qualities of both Moon and Cancer, which are going to be very similar to each other, really come out. So the maternal nature, the wanting to nurture things, doing things from the heart, doing things from a place of care, of emotion, those are all things that both the Moon and Cancer deal with. They originally would be in the fourth house. Cancer would be the sign in the fourth house. So Moon is the planet that originally rules the fourth house. So it's the house of home. So things with the home, things that you hold close to you, hold dear to you. Again, it's this sign that has a very maternal nature to it, a very giving nature. One lesson for people with Moon and Cancer is that they may have to learn how to enact their own boundaries so they don't overly give of themselves. This is something that can happen a lot with people with Moon and Cancer, is that they can get into like a place of codependency because they care so much that they give and extend of themselves all the time, and then they end up drained because they're not taking the time to actually nurture and care for themselves as well. So that kind of wanting to help others at the expense or detriment of themselves, that can be something that would be the lower expression of a Moon in Cancer, like if we haven't really learned the lessons that we're supposed to with it. Now the higher or the healthy expression of that would be being able to give of yourself and nurture and care for others, but also not do it to the point that you're draining yourself, or it's coming from a place of codependency, or you're feeling like you have to be everyone's savior, or those type of things. You have to be careful in the way you go about doing it. Make sure that you're actually helping a person and not just enabling them. You know, those could be type of lessons for Moon and Cancer. Now, Moon and Cancer people can also can appear guarded or standoffish sometimes, and this is the reason why. So Cancer is symbolized by the crab. Now, when you think about a crab, it has this hard shell on the outside, and then it has these pinchers, so it can appear very, very guarded and, willing to obviously defend itself. But that's because it has this very soft meat on the inside that many, many different creatures would love to eat it. So it has to have some sort of defense, some sort of protection. Likewise, with a person with their Moon in Cancer, or just any Cancer stuff in general, it's a sign where, because you have those soft insides, those emotions, that care, early on in life, you might have like worn your heart on your sleeve type of thing, or expressed those emotions to the point where those weren't acknowledged, or they were kind of just shit on or not respected, or your feelings got hurt. Something like that could have happened that made you say, oh, okay, I can't just share myself openly with everybody. I have to have this defense. So you build this sort of kind of outer shell and wall in these pincers. And just like when you approach a crab on the beach, they might like hold their little pincers up and appear to just kind of be threatening, but it's only because they're afraid of being like hurt themselves. So this can happen with Cancer too, where they kind of may appear standoffish, but it's an appearance. They really are very caring people. Once you actually get to know them and you're like a friend with them, and they've let you pass that guard because they know you're not going to eat them, they are safe, then they'll open up. That's the most caring person. They'll help anybody. They really do love people. Like, they are just also kind of maybe like sensitive, or they've had people who have disappointed them in their life, so they're a little standoffish at first. They're a little bit guarded. There's nothing wrong with that. They have to do that as a way of actually being able to guard their emotions in a healthy way, because they do feel those things. When you think about a crab, another interesting quality of them is that they will kind of like to stay buried down in their hole, because that hole, they know they're safe in there, right? Nothing else can come from around. There's only the one entrance, and they have their pinchers to kind of keep them safe inside that, or at least for the most part. So they feel very secure there. So this is where you can also see Cancer has a connection to the fourth house, or to the home. People with moon in Cancer, they'll feel their best at home. They'll kind of be homebodies or hermits to some extent, almost sometimes, because it's their little hole. It's where they feel safe. So they kind of will like to recluse back into that sometimes. And that's why, there's such a strong association with like the fourth house in the home. Another lesson for Cancer would be to really learn how to integrate healthy, like I said, healthy boundaries. Those are a huge lesson for Cancer, and as well as the next sign we'll be talking about, which is Leo. Healthy boundaries are a big lesson. No, they're a lesson for different reasons for the two different signs. For Cancer, it's all about having healthy boundaries, so you don't overly extend yourself and dry yourself up, so to speak, or give everything away to where you don't have anything left. So then there's the healthy boundary of being able to give, but also not give so much yourself that you drain yourself, so that you're nurturing yourself and you're nurturing others. There has to be that balance where it's happening on both sides. Because if you're feeling very drained, guess what? You're not going to be able to give to others either. You're not going to be able to nurture others if you're feeling drained yourself. So you have to be able to balance that out. That will be a really big lesson. Now, another lesson with Moon in Cancer is learning to not be swept away in the emotions, because that can happen sometimes. When you think about the waters of Cancer, they're kind of like the three water signs. You could think of them in this way, like Cancer being kind of the coastlines or the shallow waters, Scorpio being like the swamp, and then Pisces being the vast ocean or the deep ocean. Okay. When you think about a coastline or shallow waters, they can be very beautiful, lots of diversity there too. But if a storm rolls in or something, those can be very dangerous areas as well, because that's where like the waves come in and they crash, and lots of destruction, lots of torrential type of tumultuous energy can be going on there. So that's something that people with Moon in Cancer can experience. So because you have a watery sign and then a watery planet, so it's a lot of water energy there, a lot of emotion. So we have to make sure not to drown ourselves in emotions. So a good lesson for Cancer people would be to look at the areas of your chart where you have the other elements, like the earth element, or air or fire, or one of those, and figure out how to lean into those or work with those as a way of trying to balance out that Moon in Cancer, so it's not so watery all the time. Or if you are feeling like you're drowning, you do that, because you want to be connected with your emotions. That's who you are. You don't want to like shut those off, but you do want to be able to control them and not have them control you. So that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys found that valuable. If you did, remember to like, subscribe, share it around, and be sure to hit that notification bell, so again, you don't miss out on any other valuable content coming out. If you need to get a hold of me for services, consultations, you want to inquire about anything, ask me a question, you can click the link in the description below. That's to my link tree, and that is the one-stop shop for my social media, my website, email, all of those different things. So that will get you where you need to go. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Remember, by creating more awareness, we create the opportunity to be the best versions of ourselves. So thank you for the support, and I'll see you guys next time.